0, 1. Let's get started.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United show. I'm your host Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this afternoon. Today we are going to do a quick preview on our match against FOOTSCRAY. It actually feels good saying FOOTSCRAY for once. At the MCG on Friday night. Let's get into it. So obviously we're coming off a fantastic 91-point win against Port Adelaide last Saturday night. So we want to keep the momentum going into Friday night. I'm predicting probably about 75,000 people will be there. It is obviously a Bulldogs home game. We are playing them at the MCG and it's their 100th year anniversary celebration. So all credit to them, but we're probably going to spoil the party, hopefully anyway. 3 key points. Well, there's 4, but there's 3 key points that I think will win this game for Collingwood and something as supporters we need to really focus on. The first thing that I'm going to talk about, and I'll refer back to it back at the end of this segment, the midfield battle. We win this game by controlling the midfield. Now, on a side point to this, the Bulldogs are quite a good team when it comes to scoring off clearances around the ground, scoring off stoppages around the ground. They did it fairly good last week, and I do believe that we are a side that can counter that with the amount of players that we have available, and with the inclusion of Jordan De Goey, players like Bo McCreary also pushing up into the midfield, playing off a half-forward flank. I think we cover them in most facets of the ground, but the battle is going to be in the midfield. If we can stop players like Liberatore getting a clean clearance and delivering a fairly straight pass to either Norton or Darcy in their forward line, that is going to go a long way to either side winning the game. So my next point is stopping their forwards. Look, we know they've got outs, but GWS had outs as well when we played them. So I know that's obviously a different set of circumstances, and the Dogs probably have more keys and a more amount of influential players that are out, but we can't take this lightly. But we should be confident after the performance that we had on Friday night. If we can stop their forwards, if we can push the halfback men not too high up the ground, but really isolate their forwards and try and drag them and play them out of the game, whether it's from creating more stoppages in our forward 50, whether it's them trying to push up and we just keep pushing them aside. Just if we can play man-on-man against those 2 big key forwards, we're going to have a lot of able opportunity to grab the ball from the halfback line, from the wings, and control it basically from the middle of the ground. That's where I think it's going to be won. It's the midfield delivery into the forward line. The other key point that I want to make is our forward line functions so well against Port Adelaide. I think realistically, the Bulldogs are a much better side than what Port Adelaide will be this year, in my opinion. By the end of the year, I think we will see the Bulldogs in a better position than Port. But right now, looking at both of the teams, I think Port Adelaide probably had a better side going into the game than what the Bulldogs do. With that being said, we still can't take this lightly. Our forward line functioned fantastic. It's exactly the same thing as what I said about them delivering the ball from their midfield into their forward 50. If we win the midfield battle, we win most of the clearances. As I said on my live last night, we're not going to win all the clearances. We know that. There's going to be times where they're going to, be a little bit more, on top of us momentum during the game, and there's going to be times when we're on top, hopefully more or less when we're on top. But if we can control that midfield and we deliver the ball into the forward line properly, not these hospital balls and stuff like that we did in round 1 and at times last week, the more pinpoint direct, and I think with the inclusion of someone like Jordan De Goey, which I'll get to in a second, I think we're able to do that. So that's where I think the game will be won, from the clearances, from the stoppages. If we can control that, we 100% control the game, and that'll go a long way to us actually winning the game. I do think, though, the one player besides their 2 main forwards that we really have to isolate, and I would love to put a tag on, is Liberatore. If we can get someone like, a Perryman to go in the midfield and place a tag and just try and nullify as much impact as he has in the game, it's going to go a long way to us securing a victory, because he is a very damaging player. He's in good form. And, when he's on, he can really turn it on. I do think he's a very much a one-way running player. So if we can control our clearances, I don't think it's going to matter too much in that sense there. But who knows? We don't want to look too far ahead, but I really do think that we can win this game and win this game quite comfortably. So there's three things that I think will happen in this game and that I would love to see. I don't know if they're, apart from Bailey Dale, I think in their backline, I don't really think that they have too much to offer down back, also with Liam Jones being out. I genuinely think this is a game where Bobby Hill can kick 5 or 6 goals. I'm not going to get too excited. Let's just say he can kick 5 this game. And I think he can do it quite quickly. Also, I'll be very interested to see how the Triple M works in the forward line. If they can kick 5 goals between them, that's fantastic. Our small forwards are going to have a really vital role in this game. If they're the ones that can lock the ball in the forward 50 and takes away all their midfield and forward pressure, that's going to be a huge advantage to us. And the way that players like Lockie Schultz and Jamie Elliott, and to an extent Beau McCreary, played last Saturday, we have the opportunity to really do that and cement ourselves as a very pressure attacking forward line and create the stoppages there, kill their defense, kill their transition out of the back line. If we can do that again and it doesn't go into their midfield as much, that's a big win for us. But I want to see the forwards own this game because they're going to get a lot of opportunity. Also, a backman that I think will absolutely run amok in this game is Dan Houston. I think now that we've got the Port Adelaide game out of his system, we've got that, Collingwood debut against your old team, all that nervousness out, you're match hardened because you missed out on the opening round. I think this is a game where we're going to see Dan Houston rack up 30 to 35 disposals. I know it sounds, a little bit ambitious, but he should be aiming for at least 30 disposals this game. I can see him running off the halfback line and just delivering it perfectly into the forward line. I don't think the Dogs have the capability to stop him or worry about him so much, and also having to worry about someone like Nick Dacos running through the middle and now entering a Jordan De Goey, which we'll get to the ins now. So obviously Jordan De Goey is, in this game. Will Hoskin-Elliott is available. At the time I'm filming this video, the final teams haven't been selected, but Hoskin-Elliott's available. Oscar Steen's available, which we know that he probably won't get picked. But then you also have, Jordan De Goey coming back in. So the side's really starting to get some of that influence back. I don't think Will Hoskin-Elliott will get picked. I think he'll be an emergency. I don't think that Ned Long will get dropped, but knowing McRae, and I said this in my live last night, I wouldn't be surprised if someone like a Ned Long got dropped and then to make way for Hoskin-Elliott. But I think Ned Long's game against Port Adelaide was too good to warrant getting dropped, and maybe get another game in the twos or whatever it is under Hoskin-Elliott's belt. If they're playing, I'm not sure. I've got to double check. But the inclusion of Jordan De Goey is absolutely massive. It just creates more headaches for the opposition. The fact that McRae has come out and said that, hey, he probably could have played if we really wanted to rush him in opening round. He could have played against Port Adelaide last week, but we've given him that extra week off and he's ready to go against the Dogs. Now, if they wanted to play that ultra conservative, they could have given him a rest again this week. We have the bye or whatever it is, and then we could have gone against Carlton. We could have gone against Carlton and then have the bye or whatever. But look, I'm not sure what they're thinking, but for McRae to come out and say that he was ready last week to play, but we're, taking the long road basically to get him in. He's not only fit to play, but he's fit to perform. And I think when I heard that, I had like alarm bells and stuff going through my head thinking, okay, they know that he is cherry ripe to play this game, and they wouldn't risk it if they thought that he was, maybe 80% or whatever. He must be close to 100%. So this creates lots of headaches for the Dogs as well, which I'm really excited about. And hopefully with the inclusion of De Goey and Houston, just getting the shackles off of that Port Adelaide game now, also having a great game, 27 disposals, he can actually push higher, and hopefully we can spoil the Dogs' party. So overall, battle's going to be won. All the stoppages, all the clearances out of the middle, their delivery into the forward line needs to be null and void. Our backs can push up, and as long as we get the ball, a direct delivery into the forward line, I don't see us losing this game. I understand it might sound a bit arrogant or whatever it is, but I'm really confident based on what I saw in the Dogs game against North Melbourne and based on what I saw with our game against Port Adelaide, having a better midfield and the Dogs struggling at times against theirs. I really do think if we are on as we were last week, there is no way known that we will lose this game. So I've said it. Hopefully I don't have to stick my foot where my mouth is, but whatever. But I do think we'll win this game by about 30 points. So that's my preview. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment. Call it as you see it. But as always, go the Pies.